We got a video call of you apologizing.
The feud that had the entire hip-hop world glued to their screens, the insults, the diss records, the graveside controversy, the drama involving Beyoncé's mother, suddenly came to an abrupt halt when T.I. and his son King Harris did something absolutely no one expected. They went live, and they apologized. But what pushed them to that moment may be even more shocking than the apology itself. This was a fire that burned far too intensely for far too long. And before we even talk about that apology, before we revisit the IG Live moment that froze the culture in place and had everyone from Atlanta to the Bronx staring in disbelief, you need to understand just how explosive, how personal, and how deeply ugly this situation had become. Because without that context, the apology means nothing. And by the time this story unfolds completely, that apology will mean everything. So let's rewind and lay the foundation properly. The tension between 50 Cent and T.I. didn't suddenly appear in 2026. This conflict has history. Deep, complicated history stretching back to the late 2000s when both men stood at the absolute peak of hip-hop dominance. Curtis Jackson, known to the world as 50 Cent, ruled New York with unmatched authority. The G-Unit commander who survived 9 bullets and transformed trauma into platinum success. Meanwhile, Clifford Harris, known as T.I., was in Atlanta asserting control over the South with the confidence of a man fully convinced of his own greatness. Two kings occupying the spotlight at the same time. And in hip-hop, when power sits that close together, friction is inevitable. The early tension was subtle, a lyric here, a comment there, coded messages that true hip-hop fans instantly recognized. But when 2007 arrived, everything changed dramatically. Things became far more complicated when T.I. was arrested in Atlanta during a federal sting carried out by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The accusations weren't light, they were severe. Federal weapons charges involving machine guns and silencers were filed against a man who was already a convicted felon from a 1998 cocaine case. Each count carried the possibility of up to 10 years behind bars. This wasn't a minor setback. This wasn't a headline that fades away. This was the kind of legal crisis that destroys reputations and reshapes entire careers. But then something happened that left the hip-hop world questioning everything. T.I. pleaded guilty and received a sentence of 1 year and 1 day, just 1 year and 1 day, for federal weapons charges involving machine guns, despite already having a felony on his record. Within hip-hop circles, that outcome simply didn't make sense. And 50 Cent was never the type to ignore something that controversial. In 2008, 50 Cent released You So Tough on G-Unit's album Terminate on Sight, and the message in those lyrics landed with the force of a shattering impact.
Got the best lawyers money can buy. They said it would've got me 10 or maybe 9. I said, well, how do you explain how homie breathes? Said to keep your mouth shut or you eat the cheese. You so tough.
When people started pressing 50 Cent about whether that line was aimed directly at T.I., he responded exactly the way he always does, carefully, strategically, and without giving anyone a clean answer. He leaned into ambiguity. He explained that real-life situations often inspire great music, that controversy fuels conversation, and that entertainment sometimes lives in the gray areas between truth and interpretation. According to him, if he truly had a personal issue with any artist, that person wouldn't have to guess, they would know without question. But when the pressure intensified and the questions refused to stop, 50 Cent didn't fully deny it, and he didn't confirm it either. Instead, he delivered a response that sat perfectly between acknowledgement and dismissal, a statement crafted to keep everyone talking while revealing absolutely nothing. And when he was pushed even further, he said this.
About T.I.
Absolutely. For the public to
So there it was, neither a denial nor a confirmation. Just that classic 50 Cent tactic of standing right in the middle, carefully balanced between suggestion and ambiguity, allowing speculation to spread while he observed from a distance with quiet confidence. Meanwhile, T.I. has consistently rejected the claim that his lighter sentence had anything to do with cooperating with authorities. He has repeatedly explained that his plea deal was about protecting his family and resolving a dangerous legal situation, not about implicating anyone else. He pointed to the Crime Stoppers commercial as a decision rooted in grief, an effort to seek justice for his close friend and assistant, Phil Johnson, who was tragically killed in Cincinnati in May 2006. For T.I., that loss was deeply personal, and he has always maintained that his involvement was about honoring a fallen friend, not assisting law enforcement against strangers. But in hip-hop culture, context rarely survives when a compelling narrative takes hold, and 50 Cent had a narrative powerful enough to linger. For years, the tension remained beneath the surface, never fully erupting yet never disappearing. There were interviews where both artists spoke about each other with measured respect. There were moments when T.I. downplayed the conflict entirely, framing it as two competitive figures testing each other while still recognizing mutual stature. In one particular conversation, T.I. explained the dynamic in his own words.
50 cool, I'm the only one who's not offended by his brass approach, and he's not offended by mine. So, we play rough, but ain't no issue. It's a mutual respect.
It sounded logical. It sounded like two veterans who understood competition without letting it spiral out of control. But then 2020 arrived, and the situation involving King Von ignited a fuse that had been waiting for years to burn. When King Von was fatally shot outside an Atlanta hookah lounge in November 2020, T.I. posted a message that many interpreted as insensitive. He urged outsiders to keep their conflicts confined to their own cities rather than bringing violence to Atlanta. 50 Cent responded publicly, warning T.I. that statements like that could put his life at risk. T.I. quickly clarified that his words were never directed at King Von. But the internet wasn't convinced. Doubt spread fast, and just like that, a new chapter of tension took root and began to grow. By February 2026, that tension had evolved into something massive, sharp, volatile, and powerful enough to pull in people who never intended to be involved. T.I. appeared on the Nightcap podcast with Shannon Sharpe and escalated the situation without hesitation. There was no subtlety, no diplomacy. He made it clear he was done playing neutral and openly declared that he had challenged 50 Cent to a versus battle. And according to him, 50 Cent refused to step into the arena.
How y'all big raised? I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going about my mom. I'm not going. So tell your ass mama dig her ass up and post a picture that look better than my mom. What's wrong with you? Y'all better tie y'all shoes. Y'all don't know who with. You better put that music up and shut the fuck up. Cause all that other shit ain't gonna get it.
50 Cent responded exactly the way he always does, not with a diss track, not by confronting T.I. face-to-face, but with evidence. He dug through the archives, posting the Crime Stoppers footage, court testimonies, each caption crafted not merely to wound T.I., but to publicly humiliate him, to dismantle his credibility in front of the entire hip-hop community, all while maintaining that signature calm trolling laugh. Then, on February 22, 2026, 50 Cent dropped an unflattering photo of Tiny Harris. That was the turning point. The feud shifted from professional rivalry into something intensely personal. That's when 21-year-old King Harris decided he'd seen enough. He stepped into the fire, and the world watched in awe as it ignited. The story veered away from two of hip-hop's most accomplished artists clashing professionally and transformed into something raw, human, and instinctive, the unshakable drive to defend one's mother at any cost. 50 Cent had posted a photo of Tiny Harris, a Grammy-winning artist and founding member of Escape, a woman who built her own legacy entirely independent of her husband's battles. Almost immediately, the internet reacted in unison. This had gone too far. You do not attack a wife. You do not target a woman who never asked to be part of the conflict, who had been living her life while her husband and another rapper exchanged blows over a versus battle that might never even happen. Yet, 50 Cent did it anyway. And in doing so, he didn't just provoke T.I. He woke a son. King Harris, 21, an emerging rapper and the son of T.I. and Tiny Harris, took to Instagram and unleashed a storm that froze the internet in its tracks. It wasn't calculated. It wasn't part of some strategy. It was raw. It was real. You could hear the intensity in his voice, feel the emotion in every word. This wasn't a publicity stunt. This was a son defending the honor of his mother, and he held absolutely nothing back.
I wanted 50, that's what I said. He don't want no smoke though. Oh, Lord! I called my man out, he don't want no smoke. He ducking smoke, it's cool.
Let that sink in for a moment, because what King Harris just did crossed a line that hip-hop rarely dares to touch. He brought up Sabrina Jackson, 50 Cent's mother, who was tragically murdered in 1983 when 50 Cent was only 8 years old. A loss so profound that it defines much of who he is and how he became the man the world knows. King Harris didn't just reference her casually, he posted images of her tombstone, her gravesite. The internet exploded. Half of the timeline argued that 50 Cent had brought this on himself by targeting Tiny Harris first. The other half claimed that King Harris had crossed a line no one should ever cross, no matter the provocation. Both sides had valid points, and the debate raged on relentlessly. But King Harris wasn't finished. On February 23, he returned with a second wave of attacks, calling 50 Cent an attention seeker, referencing the 9 times 50 Cent was shot in 2000 and claiming he didn't act, a direct challenge to his street credibility. And it was all meant to hit hard. King Harris dredged up the 2007 moment when Kanye West outsold 50 Cent album for album, a public defeat that has haunted Curtis Jackson for nearly 2 decades. He then shared old photos of 50 Cent holding oversized toys during a radio appearance, mocking him further. And he didn't stop there. He turned his attention to 50 Cent's son, Sia, posting a picture of him on his father's lap with deeply disrespectful commentary. To make sure the world was watching, he tagged a long list of prominent celebrities, including Diddy, Rick Ross, and Ashanti, ensuring the reach of his message was massive. T.I. observed all of this and chose not to intervene. Instead, he stepped forward in support of his son, posting messages praising King Harris as a good man, a dedicated father, and a principled individual. Then T.I. himself entered the fray. On February 23, he released a diss track titled The Right One, direct and intensely personal. In it, he accused 50 Cent of being a small man hiding behind a larger-than-life persona, avoiding true competitive battles, struggling with deep-seated issues with women stemming from losing his mother at a young age, and carrying a record of lost beefs against heavyweights like Murder Incorporated, Cameron, Rick Ross, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss. And Kanye. The track didn't frame 50 Cent as a hip-hop icon, but as a bully who had never truly faced the repercussions of his actions. T.I. also teased a second track, War, produced by the legendary DJ Tamp, signaling that this wasn't just a one-off retaliation, it was the start of a calculated, ongoing offensive. His upcoming album, Kill the King, suddenly carried a weighty, highly public narrative. And then, in what many saw as a pointed message to 50 Cent, T.I. shared a birthday tribute to his own mother, celebrating his role in protecting and providing for her. The meaning was unmistakable. Meanwhile, Tina Knowles entered the scene. Beyoncé's mother, a respected fashion designer and cultural figure, quietly reposted a video of Tiny Harris looking radiant, praising her energy and grace. It was a subtle, dignified show of solidarity, the kind of support women in the public eye offer each other when one of them is unfairly mocked by a powerful figure with nothing to lose. Tiny Harris expressed her appreciation, and the internet responded warmly to both women. Then, 50 Cent reacted to Tina Knowles. He posted a photo of Tina Knowles with a caption referencing albino kids, and making a remark about grandmothers involving themselves in business that wasn't theirs. The comment about albino kids was immediately recognized as a direct jab at one of Ty and Tiny Harris's children, who has albinism. He then shared a GIF of Solange Knowles removing her earrings, a clear nod to the infamous 2014 elevator altercation between Solange and Jay-Z, paired with a joking caption about killers in elevators. The backlash was immediate, massive, and came from all directions. Beyoncé's fans reacted strongly, and celebrities like Holly Robinson Peete also spoke out. Even those who had no stake in the original feud condemned the attack on Tina Knowles and the mocking of a child with a medical condition, deeming it beyond the bounds of acceptability, even by the loose rules of a hip-hop beef. By February 25, 50 Cent had deleted every single post related to the conflict from his page. Meanwhile, King Harris dropped his own diss track, Made Man, on February 24, firmly placing himself in the center of the battle. The track made it clear, this young man was not stepping back, and he was not about to let his father face this alone. King Harris had no intention of standing down or staying silent just because some thought he should avoid grown men's business. After 50 Cent posted his mother's image online for the world to scrutinize, T.I. signaled that this was far from over. He shared that they were only warming up, teasing a #1 trending song on YouTube. The war, it seemed, was nowhere near its conclusion. Then, something shifted, something nobody saw coming, transforming everything that had happened before into just the opening act of a much larger, far more complex saga. T.I. and King Harris went live, and what they revealed in that broadcast changed everything. Where the smoke settled, and where it didn't, became instantly clear. By February 25, 2026, the internet was simultaneously exhausted and captivated. This feud had escalated with lightning speed, reaching corners of the culture far beyond hip-hop, so that even casual fans knew the names T.I., King Harris, and 50 Cent by the end. But that's the nature of a fire this intense. Eventually, something has to give. And in this case, multiple things gave at once, and not all in the directions anyone expected. What anyone expected? Let's focus on 50 Cent, whose actions on February 25th became one of the most discussed moments of the entire feud. By that day, 50 Cent had deleted every single post and piece of content connected to the conflict from his Instagram. Every caption, every trolling video, every unflattering photo vanished. Instantly, the culture split into two camps trying to interpret the move. One side argued that 50 Cent had retreated, that the pressure from the Bayhive, the backlash over the albino kid comment, the criticism for targeting Tina Knowles, and the wave of negative energy had become too much, even for someone who built his empire on not caring what anyone thinks. The other side claimed this was classic 50 Cent, that deleting posts isn't the same as conceding, and a man with over 20 years of experience in the game knows when to make noise and when to remain silent. The silence, they argued, was strategic, not a surrender. Both perspectives hold weight, but what made this particular quiet moment so significant was the context. 50 Cent had attacked Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mother, and mocked one of T.I. and Tiny Harris's children with albinism, moves that didn't sit well with almost anyone. Even those who had consistently supported 50 Cent throughout the feud struggled to defend these particular posts. The backlash from Beyoncé's fan base alone was powerful enough to make any public figure pause and reconsider their next move. And 50 Cent, love him or hate him, is a businessman first. He understands optics. He knows when a situation begins costing more than it's worth. During this period, he was also promoting his executive-produced Broadway revival of August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone, set to open on April 25, 2026. Some of his captions promoting the show, referencing no rappers, no bad BBLs, and no little messed up albino kids, ended up drawing far more attention than the project itself, overshadowing it with controversy. When a conflict starts interfering with business, a savvy operator like 50 Cent knows it's time to ease off, not because he lost, but because the return on investment has dropped too low. Public reactions were split in fascinating ways. Social media platforms, especially X and Instagram, were flooded with passionate debates. Many people sided firmly with T.I. and King Harris, arguing that. Many argued that 50 Cent had sparked this entire personal escalation by targeting Tiny Harris first, and that he had no right to be shocked or offended by the retaliation that followed. They praised King Harris for defending his mother, calling it not only understandable but admirable. These voices also highlighted 50 Cent's history of going after women in his beefs, framing it as a recurring pattern that deserved public scrutiny. At the same time, a separate conversation emerged around King Harris himself and what this feud revealed about him as a person and a public figure. His past incidents, including the 2023 altercation with his father at an Atlanta Falcons game, the Waffle House incident, and his 2024 arrest involving DUI and firearm possession, had already shaped public perception. Some viewed his reaction to 50 Cent as an impulsive act driven by emotion, without consideration for the consequences. Others saw a young man cornered, standing up for his family in the only way he knew, deserving more respect for his decisiveness. The debate over whether family should remain off-limits in hip-hop beefs resurfaced, a long-standing question the culture continues to grapple with. This question of family boundaries has surfaced in almost every major hip-hop beef, but this situation put it front and center in a way that felt immediate and intense. It wasn't just about a rapper's wife being targeted, it involved a mother defending herself publicly with support from allies like Tina Knowles, a son stepping in to fight for her, and a child with a medical condition being mocked online. Each of these layers added complexity, making it impossible for the audience to simply enjoy the spectacle without feeling a real sense of discomfort. And then there was the unresolved versus battle that had sparked all of this from the start. By February 2026, the fight still hadn't occurred. Despite the diss tracks, deleted posts, family members being dragged in, and the mobilization of the Bayhive, the one thing T.I. had originally sought remained unclaimed, still hanging in the air. That, in many ways, was classic 50 Cent, understanding that anticipation can be more powerful than the event itself. As long as the versus hadn't happened, T.I. remained in a position of wanting something that 50 Cent had not delivered. And in hip-hop, The person who desires something from another is never fully in control of the situation. T.I., for his part, made it clear he wasn't going to wait around forever. He even suggested Lil Wayne as an alternative Verzu opponent, calling him a worthy competitor and showing genuine respect for his catalog. He referenced the Gucci Mane and Jeezy Verzu as the comparison that truly fit what he was aiming for. Essentially, he was signaling that if 50 Cent wasn't going to show up, life and business would move on without him. With a final album already in the streets, films in post-production, and a comedy career he described as his own, T.I. had every reason to keep pushing forward regardless of what 50 Cent decided. What's your take on this situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to click on one of the cards on your screen to check out more videos like this. See you in the next one.